Welcome everyone in the Bull Oak Shire community to the third round of the Paddock the Goals Flood Recovery Series, brought to you by the Bull Oak Shire Council in partnership today with the North Central Football League, Sea Lake Nandaly Netball Club and Sanderson Racing Team, Witchy Proof and Birchip P12 Colleges, and with funding from the amazing team at Emergency Recovery Victoria. My name is Bart Turgoose and I'm the Media and Communications Officer here at Bull Oak Shire Council, and I'll be your host. This round will be pushing forward to ensure that the perspectives from our young people in Bull Oak Shire make their mark. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are broadcasting today and extend our respect to the elders, past, present and emerging. Our discussions aim to improve our understanding of the October 2022 flood event, document lessons learned and emphasise the role of local activities and organisations in promoting community connections. You can listen from your car at the North Central Footy League, netball and hockey. Although we're not expecting any rain today, it's going to be a bit chilly. Or if you're not a footy fan, you can tune in from home on the couch next to the wood fire and listen to the podcast while even travelling in your car from wherever you are. So let's bounce the ball and we'll send a tap out to Olivia Driscoll from the Witchy Proof P12 College. She's in Year 9 and currently works part-time at the local bakery. She is great with young children, enjoys playing netball, and she was a member of the Premiership Under-13s team last year. She attends the North Central Cluster Centre in Charlton every Monday. We also have Chloe James from the Birchip P12 College. Chloe is currently in Year 12 and is the school captain at the Birchip P12 College. She is starting to begin dancing lessons very soon. So welcome Olivia and Chloe. So we'll kick it off, starting with Olivia. So this week, Witchy Proof Narraport is the home side to take on Birchip and watch them in round 4. And how do you think the Witchy Proof Narraport team are shaping up this season?
Everything's going pretty well at the moment. The netball's had a few wins, and so has the footy and the hockey. And the Birchip and Witchy were premiers for the netball, so that's going to be very interesting for the 14s.
Chloe as well. What are some highlights from this year so far that you've had?
So I don't play football, but I did ask some of the boys in my class. They said that Ben Edwards has scored 11 goals in their game against Charlton, and round 1, Nully had their first game in the league.
Beautiful. It sounds like they're shaping up pretty well then. So I'll jump back over to Olivia again. So during our last vodcast, we heard about the critical importance of driving to conditions since the 2022 October flood event. Our road network in Bull Oak has been heavily impacted with some particularly hazardous roads, as I'm sure everyone is aware. They could take years to rebuild. So what are you seeing on your drive in your area, and what are your concerns? And has it actually changed the way that you drive around the place now that the roads are more damaged?
So every Monday afternoon I go to Bort for dancing, and that's one of the main roads that we use, and it's pretty damaged from the floods because that's where most of the water came through, and we have to slow right down for a few places, and a few of the main roads have been redone because they've been getting pretty rough, and that's about all the roads that we've had to deal with, but probably the Bort one will be the most damaged one.
Yeah, and I find that comes up a lot in conversation when we talk about roads in this area, so that's good. Thanks for the insight. And so, Chloe, the Department of Transport and Planning is hosting an online community meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd of May 2023 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. to understand local concerns in the Loddon Mallee area about hoon driving. Feedback from the meeting will be used to inform the department's future approach to tackling hooning or intentionally high-risk driving across Victoria. The department wants to hear from local voices to understand real-life experiences and ensure local views are captured. You would think that with the state of our roads and caution signage on our roads everywhere you'd go, you'd be less inclined to drive recklessly. What is your experience on our roads, and has the increased signage actually helped avoid hazards or change behaviours, or are actually prompted you to drive to the conditions? Do you think it makes any difference?
So I find that, especially on the Warwick Road, there is a lot of damage and there's a lot of potholes, and there are some signs, but sometimes they could be put out a bit too early. like you see them and then you slow down, but then you think like there's no damage up ahead, so people start to speed up again, and then bam, there's a pothole, and they just go straight through it, and yeah, that really damages their cars.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, a really interesting way of thinking about it. Is sometimes maybe the signage isn't enough to actually avoid the hazards on our roads. So, we're up with all technology now. What could we look at using possibly? That's a really good thought. And with that, if you want any more information on the upcoming Loddon Mallee Hoon driving online meeting, you can check out the council's Facebook page. It's Bullock Shire. So this is a question for both of you now. We've all pretty much just gotten used to getting our social lives back after the COVID lockdowns. Over COVID, I worked from home for almost 2 years, and if someone told me I could attend school and do all my meetings online back in 2019, I would have laughed at them in their faces and called them crazy. But I'm so pleased to be back out in the community again, especially being on all the committees I'm involved with. So we missed a lot of our activities, felt lost and isolated, and in some ways we probably took for granted what we had on offer previous to COVID. So tell us about a range of the community activities you're involved with. We'll start with Olivia.
I play netball, and that affected the season a fair bit, and also coming to school, because my school my school's not very big, so we get along pretty well with all the students, and you don't see your friends as much because a lot of people are out on farms. So it affected a lot of the time. It affected mental health and physical.
And a lot of that community connection between people was lost over COVID, unfortunately, which was a really hard thing to get, I guess, your head around. Another question as well for both of you is I'm thinking about the few times I've actually been to Melbourne. They have a number of outdoor meeting places where you can, say, play ping pong or even sit and have a chat with mates, or there's charge stations to sit down and charge your phones. So what activities or meeting places do you think are needed to improve livability here in the Bullock community? And we'll start with Chloe.
A couple of years ago, we had like a colour run. A lot of people enjoyed that. We just ran around our local lake, and that got a lot of enjoyment. Even like school events, we have like a push-up challenge coming up later this month in June, actually. So that'll be good for everyone to get together and just be part of a team.
Yeah, and get back together and work on something together as a community. That's a really good thing. Yeah. And Olivia, what do you think could improve the livability and connectivity between everyone in the community?
A lot of the time it's school events like swimming, cross country, and athletics, where people get together.
A lot of it actually is through sports and rec that we meet a lot of the people that we know, and a lot of the things that we learn are all through people at footy clubs, netball clubs, all the different sporting clubs. So I think, community connectivity through sports is something that's really, really important. So that's definitely true. So thank you for tuning in. I thank you, Olivia and Chloe, for helping answer some of our questions. And thank you, Olivia, and Chloe's going to stick around for the second quarter. But that wraps up our first quarter of the Paddock the Golf.